What's going on, people? My name is Hyper, and in this video I kinda wanted to discuss the standpoints of the submachine guns and the carbines, or carbines, whatever you want to call them. I'm just gonna call them carbines because that sounds way more logical to me. Now, as for the background gameplay, I'm using the SR2, which is a submachine gun that came with the Naval Strike DLC, and I must say that this is probably one of the best submachine guns in the game, and it's definitely my favorite submachine gun in the game. Now, if we go back to Battlefield 3, we can see that the carbines were a weapon category that was exclusive for the engineer class, and then we've got the submachine gun category, which was an all-round weapon, meaning that you could use it in every class. Now, if we make the transition back to Battlefield 4, we can see that those two weapon categories are swapped. Now, the question I ask myself for this commentary is, why did DICE do this, and why did DICE make that change? Now, if we're gonna look at the perspective of the engineer class, then it is not really a logical change. The engineer class is a class that you want to be using when there are vehicles around. Now, if you're in a map where there are vehicles around, then you'll probably be playing something like Conquest or Carrier Assault. Either way, you're playing in a big open map with lots of open spaces, which is not really suited for a submachine gun. The submachine guns are, due to their low magazine capacity and their high fire rate, not really effective in medium to long range firefights. Now, these are exactly the firefights that you'll be encountering when you're playing one of those big open maps. Now, for me, this doesn't make much sense. Why put in a class with gadgets that are mainly useful in those big open maps, and then also put in a weapon category that is mainly useful in those close range firefights? Now, so far I've only talked about the engineer aspect, but really if you're gonna swap these weapon categories, then there's a lot more going to change than just the engineer class. Now, let's take a little bit of a look at what the carbines do for other classes. Now, for me, the carbines really do make the support class and the recon class a bit more of a viable option. Now, I consider the carbines as a really good weapon category. I think they're about as good as the assault rifles, because some of the carbines are extremely powerful and accurate. So I think the support and the recon are really the classes that have a lot of benefits from the carbines being an all-round weapon category. Now, if you take those carbines away from those classes, then they will appear less on the battlefield, and I think that personally that is a bad thing. Now, if we're again going to make the transition back to Battlefield 3, and then we see that in the recon class you only had access to the bolt action sniper rifles and the DMRs. Now, I think that the recon does have one of the best gadgets in the game, which is the spawn beacon. Now, the spawn beacon lets you allow us to spawn on a beacon, of course, that you can place yourself on a certain point on the map. Now, this really does help your team, and I can't emphasize this enough, it really helps. If you get a spawn beacon down there, your whole squad can spawn on that beacon, and it really helps to push up and plan the MCOMs, capture objectives and all that sort of stuff. Now, in Battlefield 3, this gadget was only available for people, mostly only available for people using a bolt action sniper rifle. And people with a bolt action sniper rifle, let's say they're not really always on the action or in the action, and they're really more on the outsides of the map. So I really think that, as they did in Battlefield 4, giving the recons access to the carbines is a good change. Now, this is really where you guys come in. Did DICE make a good change? What are your opinions about it? Please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. But yeah guys, this was the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, then please hit like. If you're new around, then feel free to subscribe. This was Hyper, and as always, thanks for watching.